Hi, Mike Avelar from Avelar Home Inspection Inc. And today I am going to answer the question, why do buildings move? Whether you know it or not, the building you're in right now is moving. Maybe you can feel it when a truck drives by or when the wind is blowing really, really hard. What really causes buildings to move? What causes structures to move? In a word, gravity. Gravity is constantly working to get things closer to the ground. Strong structures resist gravity. There are two common ways a structure may give into gravity. If it is sitting on something that is not strong enough, the ground below it will fail. Better to build on bedrock than on quicksand. If the structure itself is weak, it will not support the loads imposed on it. The total load is made up of the following: dead loads, the weight of the structure itself, live loads, furniture, people, wind, snow, and earthquakes. Wind acts intermittently on structure. Wind forces can push, pull, and lift buildings. Buildings must be strong enough to resist the lateral and uplift forces of wind as well as downward gravity forces. Hurricanes and tornadoes are extreme conditions. These often result in mechanical damage caused by projectiles. The structure of the home is the skeleton, which includes the foundation, the footings, as well as the floors, walls, and roof. Structures are judged by how well they can stand still. Successful structures do not move, unsuccessful ones sometimes dramatically. Earthquakes also create force, which can cause structural failure. Like wind, these forces are intermittent and variable and can push, pull, or lift buildings. Erosion is a slower form of earth movement, but it can have a devastating effect on structures as well. Components may fail because they were poorly built with improper materials, or the materials were poorly assembled. Rot, insect, fire, or mechanical damage can cause well-built structures to fail. Rust can attack metal components. Over some forces that affect the entire envelope of the home. What forces affect individual structural components? There are two basic forces: compression and tension. A material is under compression when it is being pushed from both ends, so squeezed together. A material is under tension if it's pulled on. Components in compression tend to get shorter or are squashed. Components under tension tend to get longer or are pulled apart. Many building components feel a combination of compression and tension. Some building materials are good in compression, others work well in tension, and some perform well in both. A pile of bricks is very good in compression. You can stand on it. However, it's very poor in tension. A child can pull a pile apart. A chain, on the other hand, is very good in tension. You can pull it quite hard on both ends and nothing will give, but the moment you try to push on it, the chain collapses. It's not very good in compression. Materials fail in different ways. Shearing and bending are common modes of failure. Shear occurs when adjacent face of a material moves in the opposite direction. So imagine, if you will, this is a 2x4 nailed to another 2x4. If we put some pressure down on this, it would shear down. That's shearing. When a beam splits or a brick cracks, it's because of shear. Bending is moving without shearing. A plank span between two chairs will bend if someone stands on it, particularly if they stand near the middle. The upper half of the plank is pushed together under compression. The bottom half gets slightly longer because it is in tension. Building components that fail by bending are said to sag or buckle. Some material can bend a significant amount without losing their strength. Brittle materials, however, do not bend much before they break. Ductile materials do. Ceramic tile is brittle, rope is ductile. Some ductile materials are elastic. This means that they will go back to their original shape after being bent. A rubber ball is elastic, a nail is not. Deflection is a mild form of bending. If structures deflect just a little, people do not mind. but code stipulates how much deflection is acceptable. A typical floor joist, for example, is allowed to deflect 1/360th of its span. Building materials are chosen based on cost effectiveness. The goal is to assemble a structure that will perform well for as little cost as possible. This can lead to some very small margins of safety. And, of course, some failures. As new materials are developed, they are tried, in some cases with great success, in other cases with very poor results. The structure is by far the most important part of the house. Safety and usability of the entire home depends on its structural integrity. Since many structural components are buried below ground or behind finishes, much of the structural inspection is done by looking for evidence of movement. Where no movement has occurred, imperfections may go undetected. New interior or exterior finishings and patchwork may conceal imperfections over the short time. In these cases, problems will not be identified. Structural repairs can be very costly, and in some cases, the problem is so severe that the building is torn down. In many cases, a structural engineer should be consulted before making repairs. An incomplete understanding of the problem may lead to incorrect solutions and life-threatening situations. If you have any questions about your home, please contact me at 613-797-8184. I am never too busy to help you. Thank you very much, and have yourself a wonderful day.